Hello creeps and ear. And this weekend I didn't really do much of anything. I wasn't really feeling well. So I sat on the couch and I watched horrendous, awful shark movies all weekend long. And I wanted to make a video. Why? I don't know. I don't know if anybody will even watch this, but I had to tell somebody about these awful plot lines of these movies. So I'll talk about them in the order of which I watched them, and then I'll rank them at the end. If for whatever reason you don't want to hear the plot lines of these movies, then maybe click off because I'm going to ruin everything for you, because these are absolutely wild movies. So first, let me tell you the movies that I watched. I watched Jaws of the Shark, Ouija Shark, Roboshark, as well as Sharkenstein. Yeah, just like real grade A shark films. Today it was over 100 degrees and I'm over summer. I've lost my will to live. It's too hot outside and I'm just counting down the days till fall. So I just thought maybe watching shark movies would make me feel a little bit better about it being summer and 187 degrees outside, but it didn't really work. Anyways, let's get to it. The first movie that I watched was Jaws of the Shark. This is about a man shark that runs around with a chainsaw and kills people. Oh yes, you've heard that right. So this one is about a group of friends, well, 3 of them are sisters, and they go camping at the beach and get attacked by a man shark. The only sister that survives is like on the hunt to try to bring down the man shark because she wants to seek vengeance for her family. This movie, let me tell you, if you want something with atrocious acting, an awful plot line, as well as a budget of what I can only assume is -$2, then I think Jaws of the Shark is for you. This movie is so bad, it honestly looks like it was filmed on an Android and then sent to an iPhone. That's the quality that this film has. However, it's hilarious, like it's so fun, and I don't even think it's a bunch of film students. It really just seems like a group of friends that got together and made the movie and just like laughed about it the whole time. It's pretty funny. I laughed throughout a lot of it. In like the very beginning, they're like, you know that shark that we made? It escaped. And the other guy's like, that is not very good. Anyways, the shark in this movie is just a human in a shark costume. And at one point he washes up on the beach and he has a tag on him and it says, man shark, if lost, please call 07155 science. Anyways, then after that, the shark's just kind of running around. At one point there's some kids on the beach and they're smoking a joint, but really it's just this. They just took a piece of paper and then rolled it like this. And this is like their joint that they're passing back and forth to one another. It's just like a giant rolled piece of paper. And at one point the shark picks it up and is smoking it too. It's the silliest movie. By the way, I paid for all of these. I don't think any were free. I paid between $1.99 and $4.99 for these movies. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I just wanted to watch ridiculous shark movies. At one point the shark pulls out a guy's intestines and then uses it to choke another guy. There's also a detective that comes and he's just horrendous. Like the girl's like, hey, I took a video, it's a man shark, and he's like, no, it's probably something else. So at one point the detective asks one of the remaining girls if she'll come down for a lineup, and the lineup is just Ghostface, Michael Myers, Leatherface, and Jason Voorhees. And then she's like, what about that guy? And it pans over and it's just some guy holding a shark floaty. At one point the shark wears a chef hat and an apron, and he eats human flesh like sushi with chopsticks. The shark also, okay, this is what I wrote. It says, shark drives, does a spin, eats a head. But that's really what happens. There's a guy standing and the shark's driving a car and he goes like this, eats the guy's head, and then continues on. It's so silly. This movie is so silly. There's also a really funny line where this guy gets a girl's number and he's like, she's obviously attracted to me, but that plot line will be further explored later. Okay, so at the very end, how do they defeat the shark, you may ask? They shoot it in the head and use a whisk attached to a drill to turn its brains to mush. So that is, of course, the wonderful movie of Jaws of the Shark. Now let's move on to Ouija Shark. And I thought, okay, there's no way anything's gonna get worse than that. Like, I got the worst one out of the way. Maybe some of these will have at least some sort of budget. Even $5, that'd be super. And then I watched Ouija Shark. This one's about a girl, and she joins her friends at a pool party because one of her friends is house sitting for somebody who's gone out of town. Before she goes to this pool party, she finds a Ouija board that is washed up in the water. She takes it there, and they accidentally summon a demon shark. And this is what the demon shark looks like, and it doesn't swim, it just kind of floats. It just floats around and eats people. It sounds like something from Jurassic Park. This movie, however, is pretty slow. The other one was more fast-paced. This one's pretty slow, and there are just long, drawn-out shots. There's like a 5-minute scene of a guy washing his car, and then he is never to be seen again. I watched the first half with my husband, and he goes, "What is this, a Kubrick film?" Anyways, that guy, he might be the guy at the end in like a cloak, but I don't think so. It didn't look like him, so maybe that's who it was. That's the only thing that would make sense to me, but also nothing in this movie makes sense, so I don't know why I'm trying to make sense of it. Okay, anyways, they summon the shark. It goes like on a rampage eating people that summoned it and people who didn't. And the main character just walks to her car, puts on a leather jacket, and pulls out like this huge gun from her trunk. These scenes are so wild. At one point, she decides that they have to use the Ouija board again to try to figure out how to get rid of the shark. And they don't have the planchette, they lost it, so they end up using a gun as a planchette. This is when she finds out that her father was actually killed by this demon shark, and he tells her that he's gonna like try to get rid of it. So he defeats the shark because he uses his occult powers and like shoots stuff at it in the afterlife. Anyway, then the girl shoots the Ouija board with a gun and the demon shark is dead. Or is it? Because there's a little bit of a twist in here, all right? And you want to know what that twist is? Because afterwards my husband's like, "Hey, how did that movie end?" And this is what I told him. I said, at the very end, there's a man in a cloak who has the Ouija board. He makes a phone call, and the person who answers is Donald Trump. And it turns out that it was Donald Trump's idea to release the demon shark onto the world, and that it was just a phase so that they can do this worldwide. Talk about a twist! However, this movie does have its own theme song, and so that definitely brings it up a few points. And within the theme song, there is the line, "We're gonna need a bigger board," which I thought was hilarious, and the song was great. So that is Ouija Shark. Now let's move on to Roboshark. It can swim through water. It can swim through land. It's an alien aquatic hybrid. It is Roboshark. Oh wait, I forgot my favorite part about the Ouija Shark. There's a line where when the demon shark shows up, she says, "This is for my dad, you aquatic douchebag." That's just hilarious. Anyways, back to Roboshark. We learn right away the plot of this one. It's not a twist like the Donald Trump subplot in the last movie that we talked about. We learn that it's actually an alien species that has sent down this orb to Earth. Well, they've sent it to a few locations, but we followed the one that goes to Earth. It lands in the water, it's swallowed by the shark, and the shark turns into Roboshark. And it actually looks really cool. Like, this one definitely had more of a budget. It kind of felt like it was maybe on par with, like, actually I was gonna say San Andreas Fault, but that's probably not even at all true. But it definitely seemed like it had more of a budget than the other shark movies, and I actually really liked this one. It turns out that the shark destroys a US submarine from the Navy, and so other people in the Navy set up shop in Seattle to try to take down this shark. This one has the best acting so far. My goodness, is the acting atrocious in every other one of these shark movies. But this one, like, it was a really fun movie. There's a mom who's a news reporter. She has a daughter, and then the dad works at, like, the water plant for the city. So the Navy actually sets up shop in where the water plant is so that they can track the shark, because that's how it's getting around, is through these water pipes. But the shark wreaks havoc on the pipes, and in true Washington fashion, jumps up through a Starbucks and eats people. So it can jump on land and just eat people. There's also Bill Gates, who shows up and tries to save the world, because in this movie he is even higher than the US Navy is. Now, I was thinking, does this movie have some sort of deeper meaning? Because there's definitely talk of, like, sensationalized news and how things are only made to get clicks, and they're not made to protect the masses. And there's also comments about billionaires running the world and how social media is bringing to light the things that we wouldn't have otherwise known before. Leave it to me to try to make meaning out of Roboshark. Or maybe it's just about a robotic shark. I don't know. But I liked this movie a lot. For the first hour, I thought that it was really good. It turns out that Roboshark DMs the girl, like the daughter in the movie, and she writes back, "Please stop hurting us," crying face emoji. And then she like tries to be nice to the shark, but it keeps turning evil when the US Navy attacks it. There's another quote in here that says, "We're gonna need a bigger bang." And it's just funny how all of these are just inspired from Jaws. How do they kill the shark? They end up dropping the Space Needle on it. And it goes about 30 minutes too long. Honestly, if they condensed the last 30 minutes of this movie, like I would watch this movie again. It's not a bad movie. I actually rather enjoyed this one. And I feel like you could maybe squeeze out a little bit of deeper meaning in there. And also I really like felt for Roboshark. He just wanted to talk to his alien comrades again, and the US Navy kept preventing that. It was really sad. Actually, when he died, I was really upset. I thought he was gonna survive. On to the fourth movie that I watched. That, of course, is Sharkenstein. This is about World War II Nazi sharks. Yeah, this shark also sounds like a dinosaur. It looks like this. It's a combination of different species of sharks that were hand sewn together by a mad scientist. There's a group of friends that get stuck on a boat because they're on vacation, and so they decide to swim to a nearby island where they find this mad scientist's lair, and they learn the truth about what's going on and the disappearance of the people on the beaches. Basically, there are the brains and the heart of Frankenstein that he wants to put inside this hybrid Frankenstein monster. Why, you may ask? The idea was created during World War II to win the war on the waterfront. They wanted to make these like hybrid monster shark creatures to wage a war on the side of the Nazis. And he also explains that if putting Frankenstein's body parts into the shark works, he has Hitler's brain and heart that he wants to do this to as well. It doesn't really work out that way. The shark jumps out of the water to eat people. It also jumps out of the water, gets electrocuted, and gets like super swole. There's also a mob that tries to take him down. It's basically a combination of Jaws and Frankenstein with a sprinkle of Nazis. Yeah, I know. The acting is absolutely awful, atrocious in this. Again, not really any budget. Every 5 seconds they use suspense noises from iMovie, like this, or this. Every 5 seconds throughout the movie, they're like, "There's the shark!" They lure the shark with fresh blood into a lighthouse and then blow it up, and that is how they get rid of Frankenshark. So those are the movies that I watched. Oh, order. My gosh, which one's the worst? I'm gonna say Frankenshark was the worst. Sharkenstein. Was I calling it Frankenshark? They used both terms in the movie, but I think it's actually called Sharkenstein. Sharkenstein, I think, was the worst. I would say this one and Ouija Shark were kind of comparable, but Ouija Shark did have, I think, more things to make up for it. There were some funny quotes in there as well as its own theme song. So I'm gonna put Ouija Shark in second place. Third place, I will put Jaws of the Shark because I just thought it was really funny. And first place is Roboshark. I really enjoyed this one. Anyways, those are the atrocious shark movies that I've watched lately. I really love B horror films, and although these were more like Z horror films, I still really enjoyed going back and watching these. So let me know if you guys would want other videos on just crappy horror movies. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another horror video. Bye, guys.